Alright, y'all. Another one bites the dust. Welcome back to BrainFLoTv / Hot Topics TV. You already know if the topic is hot. We're on it. And this topic is super scorching hot. Lil Durk has been arrested over a murder for hire plot. Just a few hours after 5 guys are charged over links to shooting of Quando Rondo's cousin. Y'all remember when Quando Rondo was out in LA? And he was in a black Cadillac, and the black Cadillac got shot up, and Quando Rondo was screaming out his mind out in the streets while the police was trying to question or console him and trying to tell him that his partner died. And he was like, no. That incident, them gunshots, the feds are saying those gunshots were meant for Quando Rondo. But his family member caught the gunshots. And they're also saying that it was young Durk who orchestrated and paid for that hit. And the guys who did the hit fouled up the hit the wrong person, and also some of them are telling. Let's get into the details. The rapper Lil Durk has been arrested and charged in a murder for hire plot. Lil Durk, whose real name is Dirk Banks, he was arrested in Broward County in Florida on Thursday night. This was first reported by XXL Magazine, which we now know to be true. The website also reported that Lil Durk is being held at the Broward County Jail pending transfer of custody to the U.S. Marshals. The U.S. Marshals will then extradite him out to California to face these charges. You know what that means, right? It means under criminal extradition, you're pretty much going to be in your jail uniform. You're going to be handcuffed and shackled. You're going to be placed on a flight with air marshals, and they're going to take you to California from Florida. Kind of like what happened to that singer, Sean Kingston, when he was arrested out in California and they extradited him back to Florida. Only difference is Sean Kingston lives in Florida, so they extradited him home. He got a free flight home because he was released on bond after that, right? But Durk is not from California and he is not from Florida. So they're not extraditing him back to Chicago, and they're not extraditing him back to anywhere else except for out there to face these charges. The details says that reports of his arrest came just a few hours after 5 alleged members of Lil Durk's OTF collective were accused of taking part in a murder for hire plot targeting the rapper Quando Rondo, who was supposed to be the main person to get hit, but they instead shot his cousin. And this happened in August of 2022. Now, you know how the feds play, right? The feds don't come for you the same day it all goes down. The feds take their time, they build their cases, and then they come for you. Here's what I'm saying, though. Lil Durk, you're not the youngest. Lil Durk is 30-something years old, so it's not like he is a young 21-year-old. He should have been flexing in the mind frame of a grown person, but I understand where he comes from. I understand the street code. I understand you ride for your family. I understand that you 10 toes down with it. However, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's even involved. I'm just going off what the feds are saying. You should have known the minute that King Von died the way he did, that the feds would have been watching you the whole time since then. Because look at the information that came out about King Von after he passed. It is popularly known that if King Von had not been killed, King Von would be caught up in the legal system right now, facing multiple murder charges and possibly never seeing the light of day again. He would have went down as a serial murderer who was incarcerated. So you know the feds were onto you, because they are saying if you keep a guy like this around you, how much of his doings do you know about? Or are you masking your right-hand man who is a real killer as a rapper talent just to cover up what he actually really does? So the feds naturally are going to keep eyes on you. Now, reports is that his arrest comes just a few hours after them dudes got arrested. How ironic. 5 guys from your crew, gang, clique, whatever you want to call it, group, 5 guys from OTF are arrested, and then hours later you're arrested. That just tells me that one of the 5 guys, at least one, is saying Durk was the one that told us to do this, that, or the other. Because if 5 of them go in there and all 5 of them say, nah, he don't have anything to do with it, because make no mistake about it, Lil Durk is the main character that they would want in this picture. He is the famous person. He is the celebrity. He is the rapper worth millions of dollars. So they want the kingfish. They want the big guy. All these little side guys that pulled off this hit or whatever, according to the prosecution, according to the feds, they're just extra. They want the big dude. So of course they're going to squeeze them and say, Lil Durk put you up to this, didn't he? And somebody is going to say, nah, he didn't. And then the feds are going to say, you know how they do in the interrogation room, right? Yeah, so listen, you did an attempted murder and a full murder. That's cold, first degree, cold-blooded, calculated murder. You guys planned it, all this. Do you want to go down for this? Because in this state, you could face the death penalty or life in prison without the possibility of parole. I tell you what, man, save yourself, because if you start working with us now and give us the mastermind behind this, we'll cut your time in half. You might go do a 15, 20 years, but at least you'll be able to see the light of day. We want the main character, and we know that this was about avenging Lil Von's death. We know that this was about Lil Durk spinning the block, riding out for King Von. So give us what we need. You're not talking to us? And this is when almost everybody goes, all right, man, because I don't want to go to prison forever without the possibility of parole. I'm still young. My dick still work good. You know, ain't no pussy in there. My girl gonna be out here with somebody else. I got kids. I'm trying to see my kids. Blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes already. People start missing everything in life once they're faced with being locked up for life. So it ain't hard to get some people to squeal, and most people do. In this case, just a few hours after these 5 guys got jammed up, the feds run in on Lil Durk, catches him. And according to them, Lil Durk was running scared because Lil Durk was on his way to a private jet to leave the United States of America. So the charges against the 5 men, which were unsealed by the U.S. District Court on the 25th of October 2024 in Los Angeles. These charges in the indictment, it includes conspiracy to commit murder for hire. It includes committing murder for hire involving a death and use of a machine gun in a violent crime resulting in a death. These are some serious friggin' charges. These are charges that land you in prison for the rest of your life. Now, if they are found guilty, they could face the death penalty. No further details were given at that moment about Lil Durk's arrest, but it was expected to be in connection with the same incident. And at this time, we know now that it was in connection with the same incident, right? Now, the whole story says, due to their alleged involvement in the 2020 murder of rapper King Von, 5 guys from Chicago have been indicted federally in California for a murder for hire charge. And the main culprit they're looking at is Chicago-based rapper Lil Durk and his OTF Chicago-based group, and they are now charged with planning to assassinate Quando Rondo in the August 2022 attack, according to the allegations that were made. Asa Houston, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, and Kavon London Grant. Those are the names of the guys, their government names. They were all taken into custody. Each one of them was charged with murder for hire involving a death, using a machine gun in a violent crime that resulted in a death, and conspiracy to conduct murder for hire. Each one of them got the charge individually. These charges carried a maximum of course, the death penalty. And the ambush happened in West Hollywood, and it targeted Quando Rondo. Quando Rondo's real name is Tyquain Terrell Bowman. If you notice recently in social media, you'll see Quando Rondo and Lil Durk, they both became Muslims. So it became a big talk within the Muslim circle that Islam is about brotherhood, and these guys should not be fighting with each other. They should be embracing each other and putting the beef to the side. Now, when blood is spilt, and somebody so close to you as King Von was to Lil Durk, I don't think Islam and being a Muslim will take away the need, the thirst for revenge. Matter of fact, in the drill world, trap world, drill world, that's exactly the code that you live by, and you stand on that. When I saw these guys embracing Islam and becoming Muslims, I thought it was super distasteful, because I knew that there was a lot of bullshit hidden behind it. But then again, the Muslim Brotherhood, I guess, will be protecting them when they are incarcerated. I ain't never been incarcerated before, but from what I know from a lot of people who have been, a lot of people run to Islam to get saved. And when I mean get saved, to get saved from getting fucked up behind bars. Now, they said that when the attackers started firing, Bowman, which is Quando Rondo, his sister, and his cousin, Savea Robinson, or Lil Pop, they were inside the black Cadillac Escalade. Robinson was 24 years old at the time. He was shot many times, and he was flat out murdered. When you let that automatic weapon go, it doesn't fire like a weapon that shoots pop, pop, pop every time you squeeze the trigger. He got hit with something with the switch. Brrr. Whole lot of gunshots. But Quando Rondo and his sister, who were in the vehicle, they escaped unharmed. They're saying that Grant furnished the guns and 2 rental cars for the operation after renting a hotel room for the co-conspirators on August 18th of 2022. And according to the indictment, before beginning their attack, the assailants followed Quando Rondo's Cadillac around Los Angeles in a white BMW sedan and a white Infiniti. They were in 2 white cars back to back following him. They had a drop on him. They knew where he was going. They know when he stopped to get gas. They knew when he went through a drive-thru to get some food. They knew where he was staying at the hotel and when he checked out. The 2 cars were seen following the Escalade between several sites on surveillance footage that the feds now have as evidence to build this case. On November 6th of 2020, King Von, whose real name is Davon Bennett, he was slain in a fight outside a hookah bar in Atlanta. Remember when King Von saw Quando Rondo, they got into it. They started buff, buff, buff fighting. And Quando Rondo's little man, Lil Tim. Lil Tim saw Quando Rondo getting beat up by Lil Von. Lil Von was handling him. And Lil Tim was like, I ain't going out like this. And he pulled the strap out and bop, bop, and killed Lil Von. He also got away with it by law. So that put even more thirst for revenge in the hearts of the friends and close associates of King Von, like Lil Durk. His death was sparked continued feuds within the drill rap community, and according to federal authorities, Bowman was targeted, Bowman is Quando Rondo. He was targeted by OTF affiliated individuals who are seeking retribution because of his suspected involvement in the murder of King Von. According to reports, an unidentified co-conspirator who is thought to be an affiliate with OTF promised money and lucrative recording agreements to anyone who could kill Quando Rondo. You kill Quando Rondo, I put you on a fat ass record deal. I take you on tour. Houston allegedly drove to an alley, allowing Jones, Lindsay, and the unidentified co-conspirator to escape and carry out the shooting while Bowman was parked at a gas station. They have the role of everybody who did what, who drove the cars, how did they do the hit, where did they track them to, how they stopped in an alley somewhere, let them out, and then they ran down the alley or crept down the alley, laying low, crept up on them, fired. They was parked at a gas station. The gunmen were actually aiming at Quando Rondo's car in the surveillance footage before fatally wounding Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pub. The 5 men, they showed up in the Durskin, U.S. courthouse on Thursday after being taken into custody in the Chicago area. As the matter moves to Los Angeles, California for additional proceedings, U.S. Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert ordered all of them be held with no bail, no bond. The most recent repercussion of the unsolved tension surrounding King Von's death is the plot. Federal authorities are still looking into OTF's potential role in a number of other violent occurrences. What they're saying is other people got hit since King Von died. And they're thinking it's the same guys from the OTF group that might have carried out those other hits. So not just this one. So the mother of FBG Duck, another Chicago drill rapper who was slain in 2020, she filed a complaint earlier this month claiming that Lil Durk, King Von, and OTF were also involved in her son's shooting. Lil Durk and Chicago's drill scene. Founded by Lil Durk more than 10 years ago, OTF, the group, has played a major role in Chicago's drill music culture, which is characterized by gang rivalry and violent themes. I think Chief Keef might have been the smartest of them all. Lil Bibby, Chief Keef in particular. Chief Keef got money and got the fuck out the way. You don't see Chief Keef doing none of that stuff no more. Even if he rap about it, he could draw from his past. He could draw from, because he done been in them trenches, he could draw from what he knows. He could draw from what he's seen. He can draw from what people around him are still going through, or people that are still back there are still going through, and it's publicized. He don't have to be in it no more. So he did the smartest thing ever. Chief Keef popularized drill, Chicago drill, by people like Chief Keef and G Herbo. Drill music has been associated with actual violence, escalating long-standing conflicts between groups, gangs, cliques, crews. That's the basis for the drill music. Authorities are still looking into OTF's involvement in other incidents that have taken place. The federal government is looking into the group's ties to many more different illegal activities. Now, sad part about all this, man, is this. I see on social media, a lot of people already have tried and convicted Lil Durk. Oh, they got him. You know how the feds do. Once the feds get you, you gone forever. Check this out, right? If you look at the RICO case down in Georgia, you will see when that case first started, we thought Young Thug was guilty already because they made it seem like, oh, this is an open and shut case. We have everything against them. But you see how long that case has been dragging on, right? And you see how it looks like they really don't have anything on Young Thug per se, right? Okay. Now, in this case, I'm thinking Lil Durk could easily get out of this, actually, because all it takes is for everybody to say he didn't have any involvement in this. You know, King Von was our homie. That was our brother. And y'all caught us. I'll give you that. But we wanted to avenge his death. Durk didn't know nothing about this. But you see the part where they say, oh, the tickets were bought for the flight using a credit card that was linked to OTF. For instance, the indictment claims that after tracking Bowman down in LA, after tracking, what's his name down in LA, Grant rented a hotel room on August 18, 2022. He later met with his co-conspirators and armed them with several firearms and then they rented a car to track down his black Cadillac. The flights they took to get out there to LA and the rental cars were all paid for with credit cards that are linked to OTF. This is according to the prosecutors. Now, Lil Durk could easily still be excused. Because if these guys are going out to LA, it's typical to go out to LA to conduct business, rap business, legal business. He didn't have to know that they were going out there, and when they went out there, they would accidentally bump into this individual, or they were on his tail and they wanted to smoke him out there. They're going to have to prove that in court. But it still makes for a damning case and something that's probably going to be pretty hard to disprove. The surveillance image, including the indictment, showed Grant's BMW rental car following Bowman's Cadillac. All that says is they know who did it. We saw you driving behind him. We seen y'all in the alley. We seen y'all run up there. Hey, man. I'm going to close this video right now by saying this, right? It's fucked up. And it don't help that Lil Durk record is kind of spotty. Lil Durk record with the law is kind of spotty itself. Lil Durk has a lengthy arrest record himself for weapons and theft charges spanning back about 15 years. His first brush with the law came in 2009 when he was arrested for criminal trespass to a vehicle in Illinois. A Class A misdemeanor was dismissed by the court with leave to reinstate, which means that the state would bring it back up again if they so choose to. And just a month later, Lil Durk went back before the courts in connection with an alleged trespassing and breach of bail conditions. Lil Durk then appeared to steer clear of trouble for a couple of years before he was convicted on weapons charges in 2011. In October that year, he was pulled over for drinking in his car alcohol, and the police found a gun with a serial number scratched off of the gun in his vehicle. He was sentenced to 3 months in jail for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon after that. And just 2 years later, he was arrested again and charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon this time. The police said that he threw a loaded 40 cal gun into his vehicle as they approached him while he was out in Chicago in June 5th of 2013. He was sentenced to 18 months of probation for that offense. During this time, he was charged with more weapons use violations after being accused of being in possession of 2 guns. However, a judge then ruled that Lil Durk was not in possession and control of the weapons, leading to the charges being dismissed. His legal woes continued to grow in 2019 when he and King Von were slapped with attempted murder charges over a non-lethal shooting in Atlanta, meaning somebody got shot, but nobody died. He was released then on a $250,000 bond before the charges were dropped in October of 2022. Shortly before, then OTF was founded by Lil Durk, we already know, and he's a prominent drill scene rapper. Let's put it like this. I hate us. I hate us because everybody encourages drill music. They encourage Lil Durk and people like Lil Durk to rap about the type of shit they rap about. They encourage them to actually live like that because people will tell you, you ain't living like that, so don't rap about it. And if you live it and you rap it, then it makes you more credible. So these rappers even feel compelled to actually do what they say in their raps. Back in the day when somebody was a rapper, they would rap. A rapper was a storyteller. A rapper could tell you about what's going on in his hood. It doesn't mean that he was the gunman, the stick-up kid, the crack dealer, the prostitute in the hood. It just means that he was around it and he saw it, so he could tell you how the hood move. This new generation, they all about doing it and then putting it on record. Well, shit. If that's the case, the feds don't have much work to do. All they got to do is follow you around a little bit on social media and wait till you put out a couple of songs and piece one and one together and they got their whole case, which, by the way, is exactly how it's done. So, good luck to Lil Durk. I'm going to save my judgment until I hear what they have on Lil Durk. But it don't look good because they say that one of his homies closest to him, a trigger puller, is said to have been wearing a wire, not for months, but for years around him, collecting evidence for the feds. Y'all better wake up. I'm going to leave this one right here. You leave your comments in the comments section below, and we'll get to it. You already know, if the topic is hot, we're on it. I'm out. Peace.